What is going on, Diablo 2 fans? Dabrunski here, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than my standard typical upload. I want to essentially play devil's advocate to Coooley's recently uploaded video claiming Diablo 4 will be dead upon arrival. He made several well-articulated points. Again, I'll have his full video linked in the description below, essentially claiming D4 will be dead upon arrival. And I think a lot of them are blatant assumptions, although with that being said, there is one that I actually do agree with. So I do want to acknowledge it's important to sort of voice every different type of opinion, whether it's unlimited free trading, restricted trading, etc., to get the best end result for a game. I do think it's important to make sure everybody's voice is heard. But with that being said, I really couldn't stop myself from making this video because I think a lot of the assumptions are just blatantly wrong. So with that being said, let's jump in. So let's start off with blatant assumption number one, which, by the way, before we even jump into this video, how the do you record videos with sunglasses on, Coooley? I literally had to re-record my intro like 10 times, so kudos to you, man. I don't know how I actually pull it off. But blatant assumption number one is assuming that once you hit a certain level that a single skill respec means that you need to completely invest in an entire new character.
And then there's the respecking in Diablo 4. Remember the good old days of Diablo 2, back before there were respec tokens? The good old days where if you misclicked a skill point at level 75, you deleted your entire fucking character and started again? Well, they're bringing it back in D4. They'll let you respec at low levels for cheap, but if you misclick after level 50, best be thinking about deleting that entire character.
I think it's a little disingenuous to insinuate that a single click once you reach a specific level, a misclick per se for a different skill that you didn't actually intend on investing in, means that you brick the entire character. At least that's not my sort of takeaway from listening to what Rod actually said.
There's gonna be a point in time where you go like, oh, I would like to be a different barbarian, but it's too expensive to undo everything I've done. It's actually better for me to roll another barbarian and start a new one.
In my opinion, Rod is saying, again, now this is making a blatant assumption, so feel free to call me out if you disagree, but I'm sort of seeing this as, say you invest 60 skill points into Whirlwind, you make it to the end game, you start investing points in your Paragon board, you've leveled up some glyphs, you've inserted them, and then you decide, hey, maybe I don't want to play Whirlwind, I want to play Leap Slam. So respecking your entire Paragon board and all the way from the top of your skill tree to the bottom to those early investment skills and starting over, at that point it probably doesn't make sense, because if you look at the actual screen footage of respecking, it's early on 1 gold and that character actually has 350,000 gold. I can't see it progressing to the point where a single misclick means that you have to actually make an entire new character. I think it's safe to say that if you want to respec 50 skills once you're level 80 and you're well into the Paragon board system, that might not be feasible, but there's a big difference between the two. At least there is in my opinion. Blatant assumption number two. There will be no trading whatsoever in Diablo 4.
In-game trading is difficult, so you know what? No trading. 80, 0, 200 IQ.
I don't remember this actually specifically being said. It is difficult to sort of keep track of every single quarterly blog post and how it progresses, these IGN interviews and little snippets that you see on Reddit or Twitter, but the earliest that I can recall of any sort of restricted form of trading being mentioned was during BlizzCon, when they stated that there would be different types of items, some that could be traded a limited amount of times, some that were single trade, and then some that could not be traded at all. So essentially a mixture of the two. Kind of similar to the respec system, we're not going with hard choices only, you're not able to respec, but we're not going willy-nilly, you can respec at any time. It's sort of like a hybrid between the two. I would assume that the team is taking a similar direction with trade, because that has never been specifically mentioned. So I don't know where we get that claim of everything is soul-bound, account-based items only with zero trading. Blatant assumption number three. Unrestricted free trading equals no form of real money trading or pay to win.
People make the argument that having free trade leads to pay to win, and that's because they're confused. A pay to win game is something like Diablo Immortal, where you literally can't trade your items away. You have to buy them from the game and then hope that you get what you want. And if you're ever doing PvP in that game, you certainly need the best items. That one is certainly pay to win. Just because an item has value outside of the game doesn't necessarily mean that it's pay to win.
This is just entirely false. Now I do want to point out that I agree entirely with this comparison of Diablo Immortal to Diablo 2 Resurrected, not being able to actually trade items, having to purchase them, and being required to have them to excel in PvP, versus, I'm sure, a not top tier, but high-end Ghost and can still do very well in PvP. Sure, that is true, but you can at any point go onto any real money trading website and purchase any item in Diablo 2 Resurrected. If you go to some of the YouTube live streams of Asian Diablo 2 streamers, they are triggering Diablo clone events from SOJs that have been sold from real money trading websites in Asia. With no restriction on trading, there is always going to be some form of service, botting, or item sales in a game. You just cannot get around it whatsoever. I think it really just boils down to the degree of pay to win element with unrestricted trading. So at the start of a ladder, the first person that spends, I don't know, 20,000 forum gold to get the first jaw and burn, to make Enigma, to get their hammer going, does have a competitive advantage. That's really only like up to the initial race to 99, and then past that, there's not really like a massive ability to pay to outright beat other people. You're sort of, I guess, in essence, kind of paying for convenience versus paying to win. With that being said, some of the screenshots of that Gosin, like Shadow Discipline Skiller with 45 to life, 3 2020s, that again is all stuff that has been purchased through forum gold and botting. Nobody actually has like a full character like that. Those type of items, I should say, don't see the light of day if it wasn't for botting. Now, with that being said, big disclaimer here, I actually don't really care too much if people use forum gold or real money trading websites. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older and I just don't care too much about these sort of topics, or I don't feel like arguing with people on forums. I don't really care if you do purchase items early on to, get a little bit better in Diablo 2. I don't actually care. Like, I have taken or accepted Enigma donations like 3 or 4 weeks into a ladder with my character to have some fun. So I would be a hypocrite if I outright denounced it and just shamed people for using D2JSP or forum gold. Like, I just really don't care. But to insinuate that unrestricted trading does not have a form of pay to win, like that pay to win in real money trading websites will be up and running shortly after Diablo 4. I will admit that I'm wrong if that's not the case, but if Diablo 4 has completely unrestricted trading, you will see that type of real money trading shortly after the launch of the game. So where do I close off this video? Well, I would like to state that I don't hate Coooley. Just because I heavily disagree with some of his points doesn't mean that I don't think he's entitled to have his opinion about Diablo 4. And I do agree with a couple of his points, which I do want to mention. He somewhat restricted open world access via unlocking like certain areas once you reach check marks along the quest line. It would be cool to see that sort of open a little bit more. I do agree that a single player option would be really a welcomed experience as well, although that is probably not going to happen. And I do think it's fair to be cautiously optimistic about Diablo 4 because let's face it, the last 2 Diablo related titles, one was a success in my opinion, Diablo 2 Resurrected, and one was a flop, Diablo Immortal. So I definitely think it's fair to express concerns that you may have about Diablo 4, but I also don't like it when people just make blanket assumptions about the state of the game when we haven't even actually had an open beta yet. Like, I'm sure that's going to happen. That was another criticism about the closed beta. I'm sure at some point they're going to have an open beta. They did with Diablo 2 Resurrected. They did with Diablo Immortal. Like, that is coming down the pipeline. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom, guys. But again, let me know in the comment section below if you guys agree, disagree, you think I'm entirely wrong, you think Coooley's points were right, whatever. Any feedback is welcome. Other than that, guys, hopefully, you enjoy the video. And I'll catch you on my next video or live stream. Peace out.